Across America, pastors are doing the math, current giving trends, average age of members, building costs, attendance decline, and they're arriving at the same conclusion: 5 years, maybe 10. That's how long most churches have left. They know it, they're planning for it, but they're not telling you. In 2000, 60% of American churches had fewer than 100 members. That was already a warning sign. Today, that number hasn't changed, but the composition has. The churches that were small in 2000 and survived are now smaller. The churches that were mid-sized in 2000 are now small. And the churches that were large in 2000 are bleeding members at rates that would have been unthinkable 20 years ago. The average church member in America is now 62 years old. In 2010, it was 54. The math is straightforward and brutal. An average American church loses 8 to 12 members per year to death. It gains 2 to 4 new members per year through conversion, transfer, or birth. The trajectory is not sustainable. Most churches will hit their break-even point, the moment when they can no longer afford their building, their pastor, their basic operations, between 2028 and 2030. And more than 40% of pastors are already planning exit strategies. Today, we are investigating the church closure crisis that nobody wants to talk about. What pastors see in the spreadsheets they do not share with their congregations. Why churches that survived the Great Depression and 2 world wars will not survive the next decade. And the question that makes every church leader uncomfortable: what happens to American Christianity when the buildings start closing faster than anyone can count them? If you want to understand the single largest institutional collapse happening in America right now, subscribe. Because this is not about theology or politics or culture wars. This is about math. And the math does not care about your denomination, your doctrine, or your history. The math just runs out. Pastor Mark has been at his church in rural Pennsylvania for 16 years. It is a beautiful building, white clapboard, steeple, stained glass windows installed in 1923 by families whose great-grandchildren no longer attend. The sanctuary seats 250. On a good Sunday, 40 people show up. Average age, 67. Mark does not tell his congregation what he does every January. He opens a spreadsheet, he lists every active member, he notes their age, he calculates, based on actuarial tables, how many will likely die in the next 5 years. He projects giving based on inflation and the declining income of retirees on fixed incomes. He estimates building maintenance costs, the roof that needs replacing, the HVAC system that is 30 years old, the parking lot that is cracking. And then he does the math. His church has 63 active members, median age 68. In the past 5 years, they have lost 14 members to death. They have gained 3 new members, 2 by transfer from a church that closed, 1 by marriage. Giving is down 18% in real dollars since 2019. The building needs $80,000 in deferred maintenance. Their reserves will be gone by 2027. Unless something dramatic changes, they will vote to close in 2029. Mark said, "I know the date. I can see it coming like a freight train, and there is nothing I can do to stop it. My people are faithful, they give sacrificially, they love Jesus, they have been part of this church for 50, 60 years, but you cannot reverse demographics. You cannot will young families into existence, and you cannot keep a building open when 8 people are dying every year and nobody is replacing them." Multiply that story across small town and rural America. Thousands of pastors sitting at kitchen tables, running the same numbers, arriving at the same conclusion, and not telling their congregations, because what is the point of creating panic over something nobody can fix? The closure date is already written in the actuarial tables. The only question is whether the church dies with dignity or drags out the process until it becomes ugly. Let's look at what the data actually shows, because this is not about anecdotes. This is a statistical avalanche. 60% of American churches have fewer than 100 members. This has been true for decades. But here is what changed. the age distribution inside those churches has shifted catastrophically. In 2000, a church with 75 members might have had 20 people in their 60s and 70s, 30 people in their 40s and 50s, 15 people in their 20s and 30s, and 10 children. That church could sustain itself. The older generation would eventually pass, but the younger generations were already embedded in the congregation, ready to take leadership. In 2025, a church with 75 members has 45 people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, 20 people in their 50s, 8 people in their 40s, and 2 young families with children. When the older generation passes, and they will within the next 10 years, there will not be enough people left to keep the doors open. The average member age of 62 is not evenly distributed. Mainline Protestant churches skew older, average ages in the mid to upper 60s. Evangelical churches skew slightly younger, but not by much. Even growing churches often have older median ages than their pastors want to admit because growth is coming from transfers and conversions of middle-aged people, not from young families planting roots. The death-to-replacement ratio is the number that should terrify every church leader. 8 to 12 deaths per year. 2 to 4 new members per year. That is not a slow decline. That is a death spiral. And it is accelerating, because as churches get smaller, they become less attractive to the few young families still looking for a church. A family with children does not want to be the only family with children. They want their kids to have peers. They want a youth group, a children's ministry, other parents to connect with. A church with 75 members and a median age of 67 cannot offer that. So the few young families who visit do not stay, and the spiral continues. The financial breaking point is the moment when a church can no longer afford to keep operating. For most small churches, that means they cannot pay a full-time pastor, cannot maintain the building, and cannot fund basic ministry. The threshold varies, but generally, a church needs at least 50 active giving units to sustain minimal operations. Below that, you are in hospice care. Based on current demographic trends, most small and mid-sized churches will hit that threshold between 2028 and 2030. Some will survive longer by going to part-time pastors, by selling property, by merging with other dying churches, but those are delay tactics, not solutions. Here's the part that should alarm every denominational leader. More than 40% of pastors are actively planning how to leave ministry before their churches close. A pastor named Jennifer serves a United Methodist Church in Ohio. She is 48 years old. Her church has 110 members on the rolls. Actual attendance, 55. Median age, 64. She has been there for 7 years. She loves her people, but she also knows the church will not survive another decade. She said, "I am not going to be the pastor who turns off the lights for the last time. I cannot do that emotionally, and frankly, I cannot afford to. I have 2 kids in high school. I need to think about their college expenses. If I wait until this church closes, I will be 55 years old, out of a job with a resume that shows I pastored a church into closure. Nobody wants to hire that pastor." So she is planning her exit. She is taking online courses in nonprofit management. She is networking with chaplaincy programs. She is applying for denominational positions that would get her out of the local church before the collapse happens. She is not alone. Denominational officials told me, off the record, that pastor placement is becoming a crisis. Churches that close do not just lose members, they lose trained clergy. And when those pastors leave ministry entirely, going into counseling, education, nonprofit work, or secular employment, the church loses institutional knowledge and leadership capacity it cannot replace. The pipeline is collapsing at both ends. Seminaries are shrinking, fewer young people are entering ministry, and experienced pastors are leaving before their churches close. The result is a coming clergy shortage that will make the current crisis look manageable by comparison. The churches closing in the next 5 to 10 years are not weak churches. They are not theologically liberal churches that compromise their way into irrelevance. Many of them are rock-solid, biblically faithful, community-anchored congregations that have been part of their towns for a century or more. They survived the Great Depression by taking offerings in pennies and chickens. They survived World War II by sending their sons to fight and praying them home. They survived the Cultural Revolution of the 1960s by holding to their convictions. They survived the rise of megachurches by staying focused on their mission. But they cannot survive demographics. A church in rural Iowa, founded in 1887, closed last year. For 137 years, that church had been the center of its community. Weddings, funerals, baptisms, confirmations, generations of families worshiped there. The building was immaculate. The people were faithful. The doctrine was sound. The town's population had declined from 1,200 in 1970 to 400 today. The church membership had declined from 200 to 43. Median age, 71. They could not afford a full-time pastor. They could not maintain the building. The nearest church willing to merge with them was 30 miles away. They voted to close. They held a final service. They wept, and then they turned off the lights. The pastor who led that final service told me, these were not people who gave up on God. These were not people who stopped caring about the church. These were people who got old, and there was nobody to replace them. That story is going to repeat thousands of times in the next decade, not because of theological failure, not because of moral compromise, not because of lack of commitment, because the people who built those churches and sustained them for generations are dying, and the cultural conditions that created those churches no longer exist. The break-even point is the moment when a church's expenses exceed its income and reserves, and there is no realistic path back to sustainability. For most small churches, that point arrives when membership drops below 50 active giving units. At that threshold, you cannot afford a full-time pastor. You cannot maintain a building. You cannot fund even basic ministry. You are keeping the doors open out of loyalty to the past, not because you are accomplishing anything in the present. Based on current demographic trends and average decline rates, the majority of American churches with under 100 members will hit their break-even point between 2028 and 2030. Here is what that looks like in practice. A church with 75 members today, losing a net of 6 members per year, 8 deaths, 2 new members, will have 57 members in 2028. If those members are predominantly elderly, the giving base will shrink faster than the membership, because retirees on fixed incomes reduce their giving as their expenses increase. By 2029, that church will be running a deficit. By 2030, its reserves will be depleted. By 2031, it will vote to close. Some churches will survive longer by making drastic cuts, selling the building and meeting in rented space, going to a bivocational or part-time pastor, merging with another struggling congregation. But these are not strategies for thriving. They are hospice care for dying institutions. And there is no shame in that. Sometimes the most faithful thing a church can do is recognize when its season has ended and close with dignity rather than limping along in denial. But very few churches are having that conversation. Most are pretending the math will somehow change, that a revival will come, that young families will suddenly start showing up, that the break-even point is not really coming. The pastors know better. They see it in the spreadsheets, but they do not know how to tell their congregations that the church they have loved for 50 years has 5 years left. Right now, churches close quietly. A congregation here, congregation there. It is noticed locally, but not nationally. The building gets sold, turned into apartments or a brewery, and life moves on. But when the closures accelerate, when hundreds, then thousands of churches hit their break-even points simultaneously between 2028 and 2032, the impact will be undeniable. Denominational structures will collapse because denominations are funded by local churches. When a third of your churches close in 5 years, your denominational budget disappears. You cannot fund seminaries, mission boards, pension plans, or administrative staff. The infrastructure that took a century to build will dismantle in a decade. Communities will lose institutions that anchored them. In small towns across America, the church is not just a religious institution, it is the place where the community gathers, where social services are coordinated, where people find connection. When that church closes, the town loses more than a building. It loses its center. And American Christianity will have to reckon with the fact that the institutional church model that dominated the 20th century has failed in the 21st. That does not mean Christianity is dying. It means the form it took, the denominational, building-centered, clergy-dependent model, is dying. What replaces it is still forming. 5 years? Maybe 10. That is what the math says. The pastors know it. They see it in the spreadsheets they do not share. They watch their members age, they count the funerals, they track the giving trends, and they know exactly when the end will come. But they do not tell you. Because what would they say? That the church you love is going to close? That the building your grandparents helped build will be sold? That the congregation that baptized your children and buried your parents will vote to disband within the decade? Most pastors cannot bring themselves to say it, so they keep running the numbers in private, keep planning their exit strategies, and keep hoping that somehow, against all demographic probability, something will change. It will not. The break-even point is coming. For most American churches, it will arrive between 2028 and 2030. And when it does, thousands of congregations will close within a few years of each other. This is not speculation. This is math. And the math does not care about your history, your theology, or your faithfulness. The question American Christianity needs to answer is not how to prevent the closures. It is too late for that. The question is, what do we build after the buildings close? Because when the institutional church collapses, when the denominations downsize, when the buildings are sold, when the pastoral profession shrinks, Christianity will not disappear. It will adapt. It will find new forms. It will gather in homes, in coffee shops, in rented spaces, in ways we have not imagined yet. The church survived the fall of Rome. It survived the Reformation. It survived persecution, schism, and scandal. It will survive this. But the version of Christianity that your grandparents knew, the one with buildings on every corner and denominations that mattered and pastors who were pillars of the community, that version is ending. 5 years, maybe 10. The pastors already know. Subscribe to Christian Faith Archive, because this is the story the church does not want to tell but desperately needs to hear. The closures are coming. The only question is whether we face them with honesty and courage or with denial and panic. The math is already written. The only thing left to decide is how we respond.